Welcome back to Taco Potato Mustang. Good news. The brake lines that I received from a generous forum goer arrived today. I have one of them right here, and the other one is actually in some PB Blaster soaking up because it's a little tight, and I want to make sure I can adjust it the way I need to. So I did a little sort of test on the proportioning valve. So hopefully this will be the solution that allows me to complete the saga of the brake master cylinder. Okay, so I let the rear port brake line soak in PB Blaster for like a day because I had to go run an errand, and well, my wife and I had to go somewhere else, so we spent the night last night. And I was not able to move the am I not remembering what this thing is called, the end of the brake line, this part right here. But I also ended up using wire brush for a little bit just to see if that would help, and then also I used a torch, which was kind of my last resort. I still remain terrified of gas/fire in the garage, but it did work. And as you can see, this is now turning. Actually still kind of hot, although it's not quite as loose as the other ones, but it's better than where it was. And this is how it's supposed to line up. I just gotta adjust. I might have to bend a little bit, but it's looking in pretty good shape. So I'm going to mock these up again, and then hopefully if I can get them how I need to get them, I will do the bench bleeding on the master cylinder shortly. Okay, so I got the lines lined up hand tight. That's what it's supposed to look like once I get everything done. I also have to make sure I tighten the nut that holds the proportioning valve to the shock tower, and I didn't put the nuts on the brake booster yet, but that's what it's supposed to look like. Pretty close to what it's supposed to look like. So now I'm going to attempt to bench bleed the master cylinder. Safety first. Tiny gloves that barely fit. I got the ends in on both sides of the master cylinder. I got this random cardboard triangle to try and keep it more even. You should check the cover to see what kind of brake fluid you need. I also checked the old one. Both of them said .3. Got that here. Going to attach the front line. And the back line. Okay, I believe this is how it's supposed to go. Shit. God damn it. Should probably use a funnel if I can find one. I'm gonna put too much fluid in. God damn it. So people I talked to said that it's supposed to be like 5 to 10 pumps, but I'm still getting bubbles coming up, so okay. So one thing I ran into is I had some brake fluid coming out of the front port, and it seemed like once I tightened it a little bit more, I wasn't getting any more fluid coming out. So I'm gonna just double check it again, but I wasn't getting a lot of bubbles last time, so I feel like it's a good sign. Okay, I got the master cylinder up against the brake booster. Next, I'm going to pull off these little vacuum tabs that I used, pull out the little ends for the bleeding, and then try to move these brake lines into the master cylinder as quickly as possible so I don't let too much air in. And then assuming that I did all that correctly, I need to bleed the brakes, which I think I have to do one by one. So I'll probably have to lift the car 4 different times, one for each wheel, take the wheel off, and have my wife press the brake pedal while I release fluid from the brake lines into a container that I have yet to locate. Let's see how this goes. I stopped recording because it took so long, and also I was screaming and swearing at the rear port brake line, which for some reason would not thread for I don't know how long, but long enough to almost give me an aneurysm. So remember that whole thing where I said I'm gonna try to remove the vacuum plugs and put the new or put the brake lines in as quickly as possible to avoid losing air? Yeah, that clearly did not work out the way I planned. So I think I'm going to check the forums and make sure that I don't have to do this again, considering the amount of time that I left the port exposed and potentially bringing in air. So hopefully I don't have to bench bleed the master cylinder, but we'll find out shortly. So it turns out that it wasn't a big deal, that I had a little bit of air going in the master cylinder after bench bleeding it. So since then I've just been focusing on getting the brakes bled. I just wanted to get it done, so I haven't really been recording. I've got 2 wheels done so far, and now I'm working on the front. Hopefully I'm doing this correctly, and really hoping that I can check this off the list of things that I've accomplished on the Fox body. Okay, so I bled all of the brakes in the correct order. I did the way that I saw it described on many different pages, and I clearly did something wrong, because when I just got in the car, there's no pressure on the pedal, or no resistance, whatever you want to call it. So I guess I'm gonna have to figure out where I went wrong and redo this. So I wish I could say that I was successful in completing the master cylinder upgrade, but if the brakes don't work, then I can't really call it a success. Okay, so once again, I went to the forums for suggestions, and it seems like one thing that could be the issue is I did not make any adjustments to the aftermarket adjustable proportioning valve before bleeding the brakes. So what somebody suggested was to make sure that the proportioning valve is all the way, I wrote this down. It's supposed to be all the way in, like fully, the valve needs to be fully screwed in, which increases the pressure to the rear brakes. So this is the Willwood aftermarket proportioning valve. I turned this about a little over 5 rotations to get it all the way in, and then now I'm going to bleed the brakes again and I guess kind of flush the system, because I'm going to try and get it so that when the fluid is going into the bottle, that it's clear, which means it'll be new fluid, and the old fluid will have been completely flushed out. So hopefully this does the trick. Okay, so I didn't record any of what I was working on previously. I basically was able to tighten the brake line on the proportioning valve a little bit, and I attempted again to bleed the brakes, but I'm still not getting any resistance. The pedal is very soft, squishy, whatever you want to call it. So I have a couple of theories. One of them is that the bench bleeding of the master cylinder was not done correctly, so I definitely need to try and do that again. And then also my other theory is that maybe the brake booster push rod is not engaging correctly. I just have a feeling. I mean, I assume that the brake bleeding would not be done properly if that was the case, so I'm considering that could be an option. And also that it just didn't do the brake bleeding properly and there's too much air in the lines. So I'm going to remove the master cylinder. Hopefully I don't have to remove the brake booster again, because I really don't want to go through that process. I'm going to make sure the push rod is where it's supposed to be on the brake booster. I'm going to bench bleed the brake master cylinder and then reinstall everything, and then attempt to bleed the brakes. I will probably do some more watching of videos and reading of books, manuals, and forum threads to make sure I do everything the right way this time, and hopefully next time I will finally accomplish this. Anyways, thanks for watching and sharing in my pain. If you have any suggestions or tips, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you like my channel, please hit subscribe and hit the like button. Anyways, hope you're staying safe, hope you're staying healthy. Peace out.